Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship rolls on Fuel TV. Part of ALLI, the Alliance of Action Sports. Lots of fans here gathered on the hillsides of High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. We've completed our 450 Moto 1. Let's move into the 250 class and give you the big picture storylines that we're following coming into this first Moto. First, the pro circuit, Kawasaki juggernaut continues. Blake Baggett, Tyla Rattray, Dean Wilson, they've been winning the races this year. They're leading the points. Very impressive performance what the boys in green have done thus far in 2011. So that leads us to the question, what about the Geico Honda team that is normally up there challenging them? Well, while this man, Dean Wilson, is leading the points on his Kawasaki, where are the Honda boys? They've got two riders that are expected to challenge riders like Wilson and Rattray and Baggett. There's Rattray, who won the overall at our last race at Texas. He is second in points coming in. And the podium, third place went to a Yamaha rider, Cunningham. So no podium so far for the Geico Honda guys. There's Justin Barcia, and there's Eli Tomac. These two expected to win races. So far, not so good. Blake Baggett, who won our opening round, was fastest in practice today. Is he back? We'll send it down to Aaron Bates to try to find out more. Aaron?
I think he is back. Fastest overall today during practice. But Blake, the season started off on the right foot for you, but Freestone did not go as planned. You didn't actually suffer from heat exhaustion. What exactly took place?
I just crashed first moto really big and had a minor concussion, and just took that week off. Good thing there was a week off, and we're ready to do it again.
Rock and roll, get the ball rolling again. And another guy who made the podium was Kyle Cunningham in Freestone. He was a little delirious by the end of the day, but Kyle, you're prepared. You're coming in every weekend. You're getting stronger and stronger, a little bit faster. What is it that you're doing differently?
We're just working hard during the week, trying to keep me a little more hydrated from what went on at Freestone and Hangtown. But, we're looking forward to today. The track's good, the rain's holding off for now, and hopefully we can get out of the gate good again and run up front.
Best of luck to you. And Justin Barcia is looking to make a comeback after Freestone last week. Justin, take us through exactly your weekend off, what you did to prepare for this week, and how is your wrist after your crash?
Yeah, I just relaxed a little bit on the weekend and got back into my training, did a lot of testing up in New Hampshire where Factory Direction is located, and got my bike really dialed, really happy with it, and just ready to go race it and try to do my best.
Well, Kyle Cunningham, we had a chance to talk to him earlier. He's going to be our Fuel TV one to watch in this moto, and definitely one to watch on the podium at our last race. Let's see if he can do it again, Jeff.
Yeah, and he's shown some real speed. I mean, all out. If he gets a start here and has the ability to ride some clean laps, he could squirt away from these guys and take his first moto win of his career. But definitely getting better. DNA Shred Sticks, Yamaha, and the whole team are definitely on an upswing.
Give you an idea of the racetrack that Kyle Cunningham and 39 other riders will race on here. It's track map, High Point Raceway, Jeff.
Okay, for the 250Fs, they're going to labor all the way up to Start Straight here. Lots of off-campers on this track. The soil is pretty hard-packed clay right now. It's starting to dry out. Some huge jumps and rhythm sections. Got an uphill triple here, and then you come down a drop-off, another off-camber. Start to speed up a little bit through some more rhythm sections. Nice finish line straightaway here. And then, of course, behind the start gate, classic triple jump. Try to jump it and stay to the inside. And that's just to the right of our screen right now in that huge Muscle Milk bottle and the Rockstar can there.
Yeah, right next to that is a big triple. That'll be fun to watch. So we've talked to some of the riders. We looked at the track. We'll give you the 411 in a moment and show you exactly how we race motocross. It's key that you have to be consistent through two races throughout an afternoon. And in this class, Jeff, being consistent is not easy to do. There are a lot of young riders out here.
Yeah, being the entry level in the professional ranks, we got quite a bit of talented riders here who are, that not only have the skill set, they're figuring out really for the first times in their career what training and all that stuff is about, but overall just a full amount of talented riders here that have a lot of speed.
So we will run two motos and we'll total the scores of both. We'll have 40 riders in each, and each race lasts 30 minutes and 2 laps. If you win both of them, you're obviously going to win the overall. If not, and it's mixed up, the better finish in Moto 2 is the tiebreaker to win for the day.
And you can see right in the middle of our screen there, the Rockstar girl. She's got the 30-second board. She puts that up for 30 seconds. Board goes sideways. There's a slight delay, and then drop the gate between 5 and 10 seconds.
Yeah, and if you folks were with us earlier today in our 450 class race, if you try to jump the start, you will run right smack into that starting gate, and and that'll either slow you down, stop you altogether, and if you still get through it, they might have to penalize you. So don't jump the start.
Yeah, that's what happened to Michael Lessie. You're not supposed to be able to go through the gate, but hey, 450 KTM's got some power, I guess.
Well, we know he's always quick out of the gate, so maybe a little too quick that time. So that 30-second card is up. Heart rate's coming up down the starting line as well, because we're about to go racing at High Point. Will the domination of the Kawasaki riders continue? We got a whole batch of Hondas, including the home track favorite, Darryn Durham there on the inside, the number 37. Let's go racing. And it is one of the Hondas going to try to sweep through the inside. Baggett's on the outside of him, but I think it's the 42 of Nico Izzi going to grab the lead, and Durham, as we mentioned, a home track favorite from Pennsylvania, into the number 2 spot. Backed by Morgantown Power Sports to the dealership about 15 minutes from here, and they got their boy running up front. Nico Izzi is a privateer as well, so 2 independent riders not backed by the big OEM manufacturers are 1 and 2.
What great starts here for this pair of Honda riders, and both of these riders have the opportunity to go out and shock the world right now and put on a great ride. Uh-oh, who's that? That was Sipes running in third there, 25 on the blue Yamaha. Got a little squirrely, kept it on 2 wheels though.
And we finally see one of those monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki riders. It's the 28, Tyla Rattray, who won our last race at Freestone in Texas. He is 4th. Blake Baggett, Rattray's teammate, had a good start around the outside, but that line didn't pay off. He has dropped pretty far back now. So Nico Izzi, there is no doubt of Izzi's speed. The question is, can he make it last through 2 long races?
Well, so far so good here. Great start, but I tell you, I'm really excited about the rider that's in third, Ryan Sipes. Throughout this season, this year in 2011, he has shown some incredible speed at times, but has not put it together here on the Motocross Championship. But it is so many times here at this racetrack, at this facility, I've seen riders just come out of the woodwork and just have that day of days.
Look at this battle between Durham and Izzi. Durham on the 37 on your left, Izzi on the 42. Durham going to try to out-jump him. It's the big uphill. Then one of those off-camber corners where the land falls away to the opposite side.
Here we go.
Durham takes advantage, takes the lead. Nice ride. Izzi going to try to run it around the outside to get him back? No. So Pennsylvania's own Darryn Durham in the lead. Yeah, it's like we showed our replay of the old school Tony D, Pennsylvania's own, winning this race. Durham's going to try to do the same.
Well, and listen to the crowd as they come around here in the spectator areas where there's thousands of motocross fans lining the fences. They're going to be happy to see that.
And Sipes, a Kentucky boy, and he's put in a lot of laps as an amateur on this track as well, and he takes over the number 2 spot from Nico Izzi. So we're finally seeing Ryan Sipes ride to his potential outdoors. You mentioned not putting it together, hurt his wrist at our opener in California, didn't finish, hurt his back in our last race in Texas, didn't finish. So he just wants to finish one of these things, and right now he's in 2nd. There is Rattray, who won this race last year. He's in 4th.
Rattray, nice start here. You know, at the end of the moto, as this thing goes on, Rattray's one of those riders that is always there for the podium, but certainly having a win at this facility, at this racetrack, you have good memories of it. You try to use that. Anything that you can do to build your confidence and build your belief, you know, that definitely helps out.
And how about Dean Wilson right behind him? Rattray is 2nd in the series standings right now. There he is in the number 28. And you'll see the red number plate on the number 15. That's because Dean Wilson is your series leader. Now, Wilson didn't win either round 1 or 2, but he was consistent through both. And that's why he's your points leader. Right behind him, you got Malcolm Stewart.
Yeah, Wilson actually just made his way around Malcolm Stewart. As you see the running order across the top of the screen, that's going to put Wilson up to 5th and Stewart back to 6th. But the track's starting to get a little chopped out, a little bit dusty in spots. Some of those wet sections from earlier in the 450 moto are starting to dry out. Looks like they actually worked on the track a little bit in some spots too to even out the racing lines where you can pretty much use anywhere on the track. This is an off-camber turn right here, Jason, where you really have to weight that outside peg, force your right knee into the tank and area to get some grip out of those tires.
Just explain what off-camber means.
trying to make a left, and the track's falling away to the right. And that's when the side edges, the side knobbies on the tires, that's when they are required to do their job and hold the bike in line.
Oh, those knobs are getting pushed pretty hard by both of these riders. Darryn Durham in the lead on the 37, and the 25 of Sipes. They are nailing their turns right now, going after each other. A great battle for the lead at High Point.
Fighting for it. I love the enthusiasm and the effort out of these two riders.
And Sipes, I thought, had it in line, couldn't make it work. So Durham continues to lead them over the big tunnel jump. Yes, Durham is the home track specialist, but like I said, Sipes has logged a lot of laps here as an amateur as well. He's an East Coast guy. I've seen him here on mini bikes and the intermediate ranks, the expert ranks, and now as a pro. These two know their way around High Point.
And both riders wearing the GoPro camera on top of their helmets. So what great footage they're going to have of just the action, you know.
Then you got Nico Izzi trying to hold on to third with two Kawasaki's all over him. Izzi on the red, number 42, and the 28 of Rattray, the 15 of Wilson right there. Wilson has the red number plate because he's your series leader. Oh, and Izzi just able to hang on through those ruts.
Well, it looks like that rut was starting to blow out a little bit and gets what we call a hook in it. 450s beat this track up pretty bad. Now, back in the days, we would have ran a 125cc before the Premier class, which was the 250 two-stroke class. Now we run the Premier class of 450s and the 250 four-stroke class here is second. So the younger guys, entry-level guys, some of the rookies, the track's going to be a little bit tougher for these guys than what it would have been a decade or so ago.
Yeah, a lot of these riders, we can't establish this strongly enough. Most of these riders are teenagers right out of the amateur ranks. The rare exception is Rattray there in the 28, who spent a lot of time riding in Europe. He's from South Africa, but he's pretty seasoned before he came over to race this class. Now he wants to go after the championship, and now he wants to go after the 42 of Nico Izzi and get the number 3 spot. Here he comes.
You know, Dean Wilson, classic. He's always got his jersey hanging out the back of his...
Rattray able to make the move on the inside, so that should put Rattray into third. We'll find out. Izzi trying to fight back. It's a drag race. Izzi's on the inside, but Rattray's got the spot.
Yeah, let's see if Wilson here can capitalize. Yes.
Wow.
Once again, both Kawasaki riders around Nico Izzi, and hey, Wilson is determined. He's riding with so much enthusiasm and so much confidence this season.
Well, the first moto of the year he won in Texas, and he said he really didn't expect to win the first race. Kind of put some pressure on him. It looks like he's a whole lot more comfortable going after wins now. In fact, he is the aggressor as he stalks his teammate Rattray.
What I was saying there just before those passes went down is you see Wilson, his jersey is constantly out of the back of his pants. And on hot days, you got to think that that'd be an advantage. Maybe it's something that he does, you know, to cool his back, cool his body temperature off.
Good ventilation. The battle for the lead has cooled off just a little bit. It's Durham and Sipes. Durham has pulled out 2 seconds now on the 25 to go back here to third and fourth. Rattray versus Wilson. Then it's Nico Izzi. Yes, it is. And then it's Stewart, Cunningham, Barcia, Baggett, 9th, and Eli Tomac, 10th. So our fast qualifier, Baggett, is mired in the number 9 spot, while his 2 Kawasaki teammates, Rattray and Wilson, are 3rd and 4th, running for the podium, although you got to figure these two want more than just 3rds and 4ths. They want to go after the leaders, Sipes and Durham.
See the track, they worked on that corner, smoothed it out some, but already a huge rut that's getting really rough inside there. That is when the hours and just lap after lap of testing and trying to fine-tune your suspension and chassis setting, get the engine dialed in and the power delivery right to where that when you get in the turn, watch right here, he just rolls the throttle on and you get the bike to accelerate out of the turn. That's how you drop the lap times.
The gap right now is about 5 seconds between Rattray and third and Sipes in the number 2 spot. So we'll stick with this battle. This is the best one on the track at the moment. What'd you say about the enthusiasm of Wilson? He is throwing that number 15 sideways all over the place. Ultra aggressive right now.
And you notice he's got a red background and white numbers on his number plate. Now that signifies the red background that he is the points leader. Rattray, of course, running the black background.
And that's the first time that Wilson has ever been the series leader in this class. First time he's ever had the red plate. Apparently that thing is not slowing him down. No extra pressure, nothing to worry about. In fact, he looks more motivated than ever. Just trying to find some running room to get around his teammate.
Look how nice that soil is right around there. Just a nice loam. You can really get some lean angle on the bike. Like I said, just make those outside knobbies on the tires. Just make them dig in, power through there. Such a cool section. But unfortunately for Dean Wilson, he's taking a bunch of roost off the back of the 28. So there is some extra incentive to get past his teammate, not only the position, but then you get rid of that stinging roost that I'm sure that he's eaten up. Now watch, he's going to the inside right here. And what,
wow, switched.
So Rattray went outside to inside, and Wilson went inside to outside, and it's really tough to make that hip double, which is huge, by the way, in the line that Dean Wilson has taken.
Now in the section that's been carved out, there used to be a whole bunch of trees down here. They cleared those so the fans could watch this type of action. We go back uphill to the other side of the valley. Wilson looking for a spot on the inside, and Rattray beats him to it.
See if he can get the drive. No, Rattray draws some clean lines, but surely the pressure here of Wilson. See if he gets by this off camber. That's the fall back in line.
Jeff, how hard is it to stop on the inside where Wilson was going?
It's a lot easier to stop if you nail the guy in front of you. That's part of it. That's an advanced technique that you can use to your advantage here at High Point on these off cambers.
It's very mature. It's a way to ride. Got to be careful when it's your teammate.
It happens, dude.
Yeah, we've definitely seen it happen before. Wilson is running inside every corner here, but this is what happens when you got a veteran like Rattray. He doesn't get bothered by any of this.
Nah, he is just so mentally strong that way. Kept his lap times up. You see our leader, Durham, running a 2:14, Rattray and Wilson a 2:15. So the local boy is out front smoking, and Wilson
what is that
said,
move?
I did not like the left. I'm going to try the outside here. I need to get by my teammate.
Man, this is exciting to watch. These two Kawasaki guys going at it. Here goes Wilson again. There's that big triple. Neither rider able to get over it. This corner right here, every time he thinks on the outside, they switch. Here we go, Wilson makes the move. Brilliant move to take the lead. He started on the outside, he switched to the inside. He's switching lines more quickly than I can possibly call it. So, Wilson up to third. We're nearing the halfway point of this moto. Can he make up ground on our leaders, Darryn Durham and Ryan Sipes? Stay with us. Big talk, big sports, big tunes. Daily Habit is the wildest late-night party on television. Weeknights 11 Eastern and Pacific, only on Fuel TV. Well, there is a reason the Pennsylvania fans are fired up, because their boy, Darryn Durham, is leading the way about halfway through our 250 moto at High Point Raceway. And there are a couple of characters amongst them who are probably cheering the loudest. Chad Sanner, who runs the team that Durham rides for, 1110Mods, was a former pro himself, then was a factory mechanic, moved back to Pennsylvania to start his own team, and what a team they built right now with him and Darryn. And also you got a man they call Megawatt, who runs the local Honda shop here, and they're on board backing Durham as well. These are guys who grew up at this racetrack, and I mean like literally racing here 4 or 5 years old. And now they are reaching the top of the mountain. They can see it, but can they get there? 14 minutes, 50 seconds, and 2 laps left in this race.
Yeah, but Darryn Durham all season has been strong. He's been inside the top 10. He's had some spectacular rides. Qualified third here today. So this is a legit ride, but this is uncharted territory for Darryn. He's never been in this position before. And so I'm interested to see if he can keep pushing all the way to the checkered flag, or if the pressure of winning his first AMA National Moto event will get to the best of him. Is the competition going to catch him? But so far, so good. I mean, just a spectacular ride, flawless, out front by 5.3 seconds. Actually stretched it out a little bit on Ryan Sipes, who's running in second.
And we can't overstate the fact that Durham is a privateer. That means he does not get backing. He's riding a Honda, but he doesn't get paid by Honda. Honda doesn't give him bikes or special parts. Oh no, Durham makes a mistake. Can he recover? Beautiful job to keep it off the ground, but he's going to lose a lot of ground there.
This is when your mind starts thinking and you get some thinking errors happening. You know, he's got to get all those negative thoughts out, shake that off, regroup here. He's going to for sure lose some time. And this is one of those sections where over the years, this little right-hand turn has given some riders some fits. We've seen so many classic mistakes in that section, but let's hope that for Durham, this isn't the mistake that allows the competition to catch up and to lose the lead.
There's Sipes, second spot, blue bike, number 25. There's Wilson, who had to get around Tyla Rattray to take third. Rattray's still fourth, and now Blake Baggett's back on the radar. He is fifth. He was ninth earlier. He has gotten around the 42 of Nico Izzi, who is another one of those privateer riders, another rider riding basically on his own. These Kawasaki bikes you look at here, that's works equipment. They've got the good stuff, the best stuff Kawasaki basically can put out on the racetrack. That's what they're riding on. Baggett, who was very fast here last year on a Suzuki and seems even better this year on a Kawasaki, is going after Rattray, looking for the number 4 spot. Rattray 28, Baggett 57. And there goes Baggett to the inside.
Ooh, let's see if he can hold it. Now he had to jump up there. Just came in a little hot. He would have really got into his teammate hard. I'll tell you, that's a tough thing. If you end up taking your teammate out, get inside the team hauler there.
This coming from the guy who said it's easy to stop by running into somebody.
It's usually best if it's not your teammate.
Okay, well, that's why Wilson didn't do it before, I guess. And that's why Baggett didn't do it here. Remember, go back to Hangtown, the first race of the year that Baggett won. It was this stage of the race, Jeff, the latter laps, that he really did the damage.
But watch, he's carrying his momentum around the outside. Wow.
Tripled up and takes over the spot. Rattray's going to be on the inside for the next turn, but I don't know if he has the distance to get it back. They're going for the same piece of real estate. Baggett up against the fence. Well, Baggett lost the position, but he was lucky to just not lose the entire race altogether. He could have been done if he had run into the fence there.
How about the composure and the determination of Tyla Rattray not letting that pass stick? Oh, but now he's got on it again. No way!
Baggett around the inside and gets him. Yeah, I know what you're saying. When you see a rider make a crazy move like Baggett did, a lot of times it's hard to respond back, and Rattray did. And then Baggett responded. So, yeah, the mental strength, these guys, not intimidated.
That pass was amazing what Baggett did right there. He kept both feet on the pegs and leaned the bike over around that sweeper. Wasn't tempted to take his left foot off for that, a security.
Right.
Really executed it. Good pass.
Aaron Bates, let's talk about the 28 of Rattray a little bit here. What do you have?
What a performance right now by Tyla Rattray. But guys, they did Team Thursday testing, and it's something that the Pro Circuit team has been doing with a couple of other riders for the past few weeks. But they really focused on not only chassis, but suspension for Tyla. They're just trying to make him a little more comfortable, provide him with a little additional confidence. They're doing some sprints, a lot of motos, but softened everything up just a little bit. Tyla's confidence is definitely soaring high, coming off his first motocross overall last when we saw him in Freestone.
Yeah, he won there. And a lot of teams are saying that, Aaron. You know, they got to soften the suspension for the different terrain here. But, again, with all the help they have, whatever combination Darryn Durham and the 1110Mods Honda team has come up with is working best right now. We've got a long way to go to see if the home track specialist can hold on and win his first ever AMA Moto. Bad news here for the rider that was running in second place at High Point Raceway. Ryan Sipes goes down. This has been the story of his season early in the motocross tour. Great riding, but not able to show it in the results. But our leader is still safe, Darryn Durham on the 37.
Darryn Durham out front over Dean Wilson by 5.2 seconds. So Wilson has definitely made up some ground on the leader.
He's looking back, Jeff.
Durham taking a look back. He's going to have to keep focused. Take a deep breath around these resting spots on the track. Relax your hands and your arms. Get rid of any arm pump that could possibly be shaping up, because he's going to need it. If Durham is to win this moto, he will have to contest these two riders, because Wilson and Baggett are the fastest riders on the track at the moment.
Well, out of the two that are the fastest, I think Baggett might be the faster of the two, because he has caught Wilson from way back, and this to me looks like a replay of what we saw a few weeks ago at Hangtown. Late in the race, it's like they put some nitrous in his tank or something, and he hit the switch. The 57 of Baggett on fire right now. He was in 9th earlier. He is up to 3rd, and he is all over Wilson for 2nd.
Let's pay attention to their lines here and try to pick out exactly where Baggett is making up time. You see him taking a little smoother line there around the outside, maybe carrying a little momentum. Going to get into some lapped riders, and there's definitely a few sections on the track here that if you get caught behind that lapped rider and you get caught into that main groove, that it can slow you down.
I think it just happened there to Baggett. Now he's got to go back to work, close back in on the 15. If these two hook up and battle a little bit, could that work out to the benefit of Durham is in the lead. Will they push each other to go faster, or will they slow each other down battling?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, if they start block passing each other and, you know, doing that sort of cat and mouse thing, but I don't really think that this is the type of track for that. You know, they're both running some great lap times right now, and they're just pushing forward. They are teammates, so you look for them to race, you know, possibly a little cleaner than what you would if it was your arch rival, or, you know.
Yeah, so that might make a difference. They might not slow each other too much, and man, they are definitely closing in on Durham. And Durham's got to feel like this is an hour-long moto instead of a half-hour one. There are still 5 minutes before the two-lap board comes out. Here goes Baggett around the outside. Same line he tried to use to get around Rattray. Rattray almost put him into the fence. This time, Baggett tries to tuck it back in on Wilson.
Wow, and Wilson anticipated that move and squared it up. He's got the inside line right now. Let's see if Baggett tries to square him up. Now, remember, Wilson made a pass on Rattray right here. Held the line tight, left no room for Blake Baggett to get on the inside. Wilson is riding a very smart race at this point. And notice these guys are really getting on the brakes hard right now and really pressing what the tires have.
Well, guys, Dean Wilson riding around right there. A question for you, Jack, because these guys have all prepared for the mud conditions today. You'll notice some of them have hand guards. A lot of that was to protect for rocks, but they were actually initially expecting it to avoid any kind of mud. A guy like Dean Wilson has a big radiator and a big screen, completely prepared for mud, including sharp foot pegs. What difference does that make, or does that give him any type of advantage on this track?
Well, the big radiators, yeah, that's definitely going to help out with the cooling, and I think that everybody is a little bit fearful, you know. They're a little bit gun-shy after some of the things that have happened last week, and this championship is just so challenging for the rider and the machine. Definitely the hand guards, like we've seen in the 450 class on Davey Millsap, for something that you want to run.
And Baggett has now made the move on Wilson up into second. And that is a dangerous rider to have in the number 2 spot if you're the leader, because Baggett late in these races has been lightning fast. Still not quite able to see Durham, the leader, within his sight. It's a lot easier to catch a guy when you can see him. But we got 4 laps to go, 5 laps to go, something like that, depending on the clock. Plenty of time for Baggett to close in.
Yeah, Baggett's on the move right now. And I mean, it's just amazing. He's a little guy, okay, but he is so physical, and since he is hooked up with Eldon Baker, it seems like that has just...
Whoa!
He saves it!
Explain what happened there. Clipped the back wheel, hit the front wheel. What happened there?
Yeah, he's trying to jump through those rollers, but see, gets the heart rate up a little bit, but all good now. Still got the bike on 2 wheels, and now that he can see the leader in sight, this is when you start to feel good, because you've just got everything flowing right, and you see some lappers have a pretty good chance that could help you out right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Durham is struggling to get around some of these riders. He's finally done it, but the damage is done. We're down to 1.5 seconds, the gap between your leader, Durham, and the 57-inch second of Blake Baggett. A great race to the finish coming up on Fuel TV. Battle for the lead is on here at High Point Raceway. Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross. Pennsylvania's own Darryn Durham is the leader. He has never won one of these races before in his career, but he's got Blake Baggett all over him in second place.
Got his hands full right now. Baggett really applying the pressure.
And Durham makes a mistake. Will he be able to beat Baggett to the inside of the next corner? No, Blake Baggett into the lead, and Durham grabbed too much throttle, lost the drive, and Baggett says thank you very much. And late in these races, forget it. You are not going to repass Blake Baggett. He is on fire right now.
Watch what happens here. Durham knows that he has to get on the throttle, hits one of those slick spots in this track that hard clay underneath. Tire just could not hold the traction, and he could not hold the number 1 position.
What gets into Blake Baggett late in these races? He is like a completely different rider when we get past the halfway point. Look at the lead he's built now.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens. And you see Dean Wilson here at the top of your screen, green Kawasaki, trying to make the move. He basically got dropped by his teammate. He's 6 seconds behind the lead right now. You know Dino's going to be a little ticked off at that, because it was looking like early in the moto that he would be the one that would come through to take the lead. Baggett has one-upped him.
Yeah. I mean, we said it earlier. They were the two fastest on the track, but Baggett was the faster of the two. Aaron's got Darryn Durham's mechanic. What's happening down there in the pits?
Well, guys, I'm here with Nathan Alexander. You've been mechanic for Darryn Durham for the last year and a half. But Nathan, these guys just backed off, lost second, lost that first place position. Do you think he's got anything left in him to fight these guys back for that first place?
I think he does, but he's just trying to play it safe. It's the first time he's been comfortable all year, and he's just trying to keep things together so he can finish it up with the second moto.
How excited are you for this moment anyhow?
I'm really excited. Everyone worked so hard. It's finally paying off.
There you go, guys. A proud mechanic watching his boy go by.
Trying to figure out what's happening here at Durham. He has lost his lines completely out there. Jeff, is he tired? Has he lost composure? Now he's trying to come back on Wilson.
Well, at least in that one corner, we saw him go wide in the same spot where he lost traction in the rear tire the lap before and gave up the lead, and then gave up second place to Wilson here, but still a fine ride for the Pennsylvania native. And it's really important in this section here that you, this time in the moto, that you keep your composure, that you breathe, that you try to relax in this very stressful physical situation, and you just never know if he can regroup here.
It looks like
get
he
back
has.
into number 2.
It was a terrible lap or so when he got caught by Baggett and then passed, and then Wilson came up, passed him as well. And now the 37 wants to move back into the number 2 position.
Yeah, and he's got some great lines here. You know that he's comfortable riding the high lines on these off cambers. Watch this huge double here. Wilson takes a look back. Durham just squeaks by and makes that big hip double.
Talk about the experience, by the way. Baggett, who won a race a couple of weeks ago, Wilson's won several of these. What is it like to lead a moto for the first time in your career like Durham did?
It's a surreal moment because you're out there and it's, you know, your heart rate's up and there's, you know, just the enthusiasm of it all, and you know that you're leading. You know, the fans are cheering you on, and it kind of gives you chills while you're riding at times too. I always used to feed off the crowd. I love that feeling, and that's what the top racers who have been in that position, they learn to use that to their advantage.
Well, he better feed off the crowd now, because if Blake Baggett is the rider you least want behind you late in the race with his lap times, I'd say the 28 Tyla Rattray might be second on that list. That guy doesn't get tired. He is in 4th. He is within sight of Durham. So Durham's going to have to hustle through this last lap and a half to hold on to even a podium spot. That's how deep the competition is in Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross. You can run strong for 25 minutes, even 30, but the last moment you make even one slip up and there's a whole bunch of riders who want to take your spot away. Oh, by the way, to point out that Darryn Durham's brother Shane is running in 19th, so the Durham brothers out of Pennsylvania, both in the top 20. And it depends on the section of the track where they just came from. Durham seems to be pretty fast.
Yeah, he definitely put on a charge right there, but Wilson, this has been a great ride for him, but like I said, he's going to be a little disappointed. He was going for the W here, and Baggett out front now by 11.9 seconds. He's a couple seconds a lap quicker, and it seems like that now that we're well past the 30-minute mark, actually times across the top of the screen, that's a 4-second difference.
Unbelievable.
Baggett here, even with just one lap to go, putting down some of the fastest lap times. So they were at a 2:18. Baggett's at a 2:14. He qualified at 2:12.
Jeez. The rider, by the way, that Baggett just put a lap down is Shane Durham, Darryn Durham's younger brother, but he is still in 19th. That's a good, solid ride for him. Now, oh, and Shane goes down in that corner. Man, the last couple laps have not been nearly as good for the bros as they were the early ones. We'll see if Darryn can hold on for a top 3. No one's stopping this guy. Blake Baggett,
look at that.
Throwing it sideways here in the last lap.
That's the style right there, and that only comes when you're fit, when you know, you're dialed in with the bike and your technique. You just seem to be able to just lean the bike and throw the bike, you know, whip it out at times. I loved being in that, you know, in that zone. You know, it's so hard to get there, and then once you're there, it's such a great feeling. I mean, you can just put the bike wherever you want. It seems like you just hit every bump like you want. If you want to hop over one, you just bounce over it.
It's unbelievable what Baggett's been able to do in a class, the 250 bikes, that is known for such close competition. The riders are usually battling, you know, for tenths of a second here, inches instead of feet, and this kid comes out and goes 4 seconds a lap faster than people toward the finish. Blake Baggett wins Moto 1 at High Point in what is becoming his favorite style, coming from behind. And what happened to Darryn Durham? We just saw the 15 come by Wilson, the 28 of Rattray. There is Durham, and late in this race, that is a lap rider there, Lance Vincent. Durham is going to fall off the podium in the last lap. That is a big bummer for the Pennsylvania native who led the majority of laps in this race. But, Jeff, like you said, it's a surreal experience to lead like that.
Yeah, but how about it? Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Baggett first, Wilson second, Rattray third, and from way behind, their fourth teammate, Broc Tickle, and in 10th. All 4 bikes inside the top 10.
Yeah,
Huge.
and more struggle for that Geico Honda team that's expected to challenge them. Justin Barcia is running 9th, and Eli Tomac in 6th. So the fans here almost got what they wanted. Darryn Durham led a whole bunch of this first moto, but he was not able to hold on to the end. But you got to learn to lose one before you can learn to win one, right?
Well, I call it building the foundation, and that was definitely a step forward. Got the experience of out front leading to see what that's like. And, you know, he was in uncharted territory right there. I think he performed brilliantly. Even though he gave up that position on the last lap, he's still got to be extremely happy with that.
And what are they going to do about Blake Baggett? After a rough one in our last race at Texas, he has rebounded and come back. He's on top again. Stay with us.
Well,
watch the best Kung Fu cult classic films only on Fuel TV. Next Saturday, it's the premiere of Executioners from Shaolin, late night at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Aaron Bates has got the star of the show here as far as the Pennsylvania fans are concerned. Aaron?
Home track specialist making a statement out here today. Darryn, what a race that was for you, leading all the way down to the final lap. How surreal was that experience for you in front of all your family and friends?
Yeah, you know, I ran a great race. My bike was working awesome, 1110Mods, Morgantown Power Sports, PR2, Volcom, everyone for helping me out, Von Zipper, DVS. And yeah, I was riding good, and I got some dirt jammed to my brake and couldn't jump a jump on the last lap, and Rattray got me. So I'm pretty bummed out, but I'm going to come back strong next moto.
Great job today.
What a ride for the privateer, independent kid doing it with the help of his family and his friends, Jeff.
Yeah, just what a great ride. But hey, he can come back. He's been able to put in 2 solid motos. So.
Here's the results. Blake Baggett, your winner. His Kawasaki teammates Wilson and Rattray joined him on the podium. Kyle Cunningham, another solid ride. He was our rider to watch in this one, and watch him get a top 5.
Top 10, Nick Paluzzi bringing down to 14th.
And Gareth Swanepoel, who has been battling 4 podiums this year, kind of a disappointment at 12th. And Shane Durham, that's Darryn's younger brother, does hold on to finish 20th and score 1 national point. The rest of these guys hope to do a little better in the next moto and get inside that top 20 where you score points. There's your 1 through 40. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates with your moto winner.
Blake Baggett coming out swinging. Blake, you were wanting to make a point here at High Point, especially after the rough week you had at Freestone, but you were the one guy mentioned how slippery these conditions were. How much has the track changed from morning till now?
Definitely the track's changed a lot. You know, this morning it was kind of muddy because it rained yesterday, and you know, right now it's dry now. They're actually having to water. I think the rain might be coming, though. It looks like it. But, you know, it's super slippery. It's kind of like California track. It reminds me a little bit of Hangtown, but I just got to give it up to my team, Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Parts Unlimited, Thor, Volcom, Vans, Dunlop, my mom, my dad, my girlfriend, my trainer, Alden Baker, everybody. You know, it wouldn't be possible without them.
What do you have left for the second moto, Blake?
What'd you say?
What do you have left for the second moto? Do you have anything left?
Yeah, we'll see. I think I used up all my tricks right there. I came from pretty far back, but just do the same thing and try to get a better start.
Congratulations on a job well done. Good luck in the second moto.
Think this kid's got something left for Moto 2?
Oh yeah. He was out front so fast and efficient. Yeah, he's got to be feeling good right now.
Unbelievable rebound after a tough one. He won the opener, struggled in round 2, back here with a moto win at round 3. We'll have more from High Point when we return live on Fuel TV. We are back at High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Big crowd gathered here, and they got what they wanted to see. One of the local favorites led a whole bunch of this one. We'll show you the Lucas Oil race recap. The 37 of Darryn Durham makes the move on the 42 of Nico Izzi, and he's out front really for the first time in his career, Jeff.
Yeah, and Durham was setting some super fast lap times. This looked fantastic, and the crowd was cheering him on all the way.
Unfortunately, the 57 of Blake Baggett caught fire late in the race. A mistake by Durham. Got about 3 laps to go here. The 57 moves into the #1 spot. He would not be headed. And then a big mistake by Durham here allows Dean Wilson to take second.
Goes wide in the exact same turn, and also on the last lap gives up third to Tyla Rattray.
So Blake Baggett is back. He wins the second moto. We already talked to him. We've got Dean Wilson on the podium and Aaron Bates. Aaron?
Dean Wilson has been working on his starts all season long, but Dean off to a bit of a bad start again, starting from mid-pack. How big of a challenge is this start today, considering it's also an uphill start?
Yeah, it's real difficult, you know. I actually kind of thought I was going to get a good start. You know, I got a pretty good jump, but just wheelied a little bit and got pinched off. So, but you know, it was a good moto. You know, I got second, can't complain with that, but really wanted to win. But it's kind of tired myself out trying to get around Tyler. You know, I was pushing really hard to make that happen, and it took me too long. So, you know, Blake was just charging and came flying by us. You know, he was going real fast. So, yeah, just looking forward to maybe some redemption second moto.
Big talk, big sports, big tunes. Daily Habits, the wildest late night party on television. Weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on Fuel TV. We'll be checking that out. Jeff, you ever been in the Daily Habit?
Yeah, you have. Oh, yeah, going on again soon.
All right, let's send it down to the podium one more time with Aaron Bates and Tyla Rattray.
Tyler comes off his first overall victory at Freestone. Tyler, what is the confidence builder of that coming in here, and what do you do to apply all that confidence to this track?
Well, I felt good coming in here, and I really enjoyed coming to this track, and it was pretty hard out there for me. You know, I suffered with a bit of arm pump, I was struggling with my suspension and fighting the barb, so for my riding wasn't really good, but make a couple of suspension changes for the next race, and I think it'll be better. I just want to thank the guys from Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Barcia Limited, Thor, everyone. Thanks.
Terrific job, Moto #1.
Give you an idea of some of the upcoming shows here on Fuel TV. Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. We have the highlights of each round of the series. And then next week, we're going not too far away, about 3 hours from here, Budds Creek, Maryland. We'll have the highlight show for that on Thursday night. And then next, it's off to Colorado. And we are off to the podium one more time with Aaron Bates. Aaron?
Kyle Cunningham, 5th place, and we saw you on the podium last in Wortham with a 3rd place. Kyle, what is it that has changed so much about you as a rider for you to be able to step up your speed so much?
I got to give it up to the DNA Shred Stick Star Racing. Saquon, Infab, Yamaha team, they've done a great job with the bike, and we've really made some progress. I'm kind of happy with the ride. I rode all right for, you know, the first 15, and then once I hit the halfway, I kind of picked it up, and, you know, I just settled in the last lap. But, you know, we're looking forward to the next moto. I feel a lot better this weekend, so hopefully I can get the Yamaha up front and end up on the podium again.
Congratulations on a job well done.
That was a solid ride, though. He was about 30 seconds behind Baggett, but definitely an improvement. And skies look awfully dark in the background there, Jason.
Yeah, we were only halfway through the race day. Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross coverage. Second moto coverage will be on Speed tonight on Saturday, and our 450 class coverage will be on NBC on Sunday. So much coverage. If you want to know exactly what's going on, just go to allysports.com. That's the official site of this series. But what can you say about Blake Baggett and Ryan Villopoto? They are our first moto winners today live on Fuel, and they have answered the question, can they rebound, can they bounce back? So far, they've proven they can. So congratulations to those two. Fans got to see some great racing out here today, so congratulations to them for buying tickets and coming to watch. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emming, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship Racing live on Fuel TV. We'll catch you next week.
Through 2 rounds of the 2011 championship, the Pro Circuit Kawasaki team has captured their early season momentum. At Hangtown, the green team unveiled their latest superstar, Grand Terrace, California's Blake Baggett.
Blake Baggett wins Hangtown. Incredible.
At round 2 in Texas, former world champion Tyla Rattray got the job done for his 3rd career overall win in America.
Tyla Rattray wins the 2nd moto here in Texas, and with that, he should go 2-1 to take the overall.
And while he has yet to taste victory in the young season, Dean Wilson leads the championship standings heading into round 3. It's time to drop the gate on 250 motocross from historic High Point Raceway.
Welcome to High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Round 3 of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. The 250 class coverage continues with the Rockstar Energy Drink, High Point National in the rolling hills of southwestern Pennsylvania. Hello, everyone. Jason Wygant, Jeff Emmett, going to give you the call, as always, on speed. What has been a very exciting 250 series so far should get even better today. And we'll give you an idea of what we have in store for the racing as we look at the big picture. These are the storylines that we're going to be following at High Point. And we have an even bigger picture that is rolled in with a big weather front that has turned this track very muddy for the 2nd moto. But the stories coming into this one, the dominance of the Pro Circuit team. They have won the first 2 rounds of racing. The boys in green and the Kawasaki's have been dominant thus far. They've won the races. They lead the championship standings. And Marvin Musquin, watch this. Oh! The Frenchman, who was expected to contend for the championship this year, broke his thumb in that crash. Justin Barcia, Honda rider, went down, and his bike went flying into Musquin. Musquin will not be here. He's expected to be out at least 8 weeks. So too bad for the friendly Frenchman. We will not be able to see him in action today from Pennsylvania. Now, one of the other international riders is making waves. Tyla Rattray, the veteran from South Africa, won our last race of the tour from Texas and won this race in Pennsylvania last year. Rattray is 2nd in the series standings coming into this event, but he is definitely beginning to feel it in his 3rd year of racing in America. So, Tyla Rattray, can he repeat and win 2 in a row at High Point? Well, definitely these track conditions being so muddy and so gnarly are definitely going to play in his favor. Let's talk to and learn more about Tyla Rattray.
It's always been a dream of mine as a kid, watching on TV, the guys like McGrath, Emig, Rick Johnson, all of them racing here in America. And when you're a kid, that's all you want to do, is you want to go over there and you want to be like them. And yeah, I'm really blessed to be in the position I am in, and to be over here in America and racing on such a professional level. Obviously, it takes a lot of hard work and determination to get to this level, but once you've reached it and you're successful, like a lot of us are, it's really awesome. Obviously, for me, it takes also a lot of sacrifices. I've given up everything I had in South Africa. I moved to Belgium for 8 years and managed to win a world championship there, and then came over here and now racing for Mitch's team. And obviously, this is not South Africa, but this is where the gold crown of motocross is in America, and I'm just really blessed to be here and racing in America.
Let's give you the 411 on how motocross works. We race 2 races in each class every weekend. This is your 250 class for 250cc engines. Each moto lasts 30 minutes and 2 laps. We'll total up the scores from both races to determine an overall winner for the day. And in case the scores are tied through the first 2 motos, we will break that tie with the better score in the 2nd race. And now we'll give you an idea what the track looks like here at High Point. Jeff Emmett, take us for a lap.
Well, yeah, here's what it looks on paper, basically. You got this really steep uphill start that's really deep. Earlier today in qualifying practice, the track was in really good shape. During the first moto, this hard clay really packed down, and some of the off-camber turns got really slippery. Some lines have formed. Not really that rough today, but since Moto 1 here leading into Moto 2, the skies opened up. We had quite a bit of rain come down, and so now the track's going to be really wet, muddy, slippery, and it's going to be much more difficult than what it was here for Darryn Durham with our GoPro on board. This is earlier today in qualifying practice. So you can see how some of these ruts start to form on the off-camber turns. Now that it's wet and muddy out there, those ruts are going to be even deeper, even softer, and it's going to be really choppy.
So Darryn Durham, very strong here. He knows the short way around this track because he's born and raised in Pennsylvania. Grew up here racing this track as a kid on the mini-sized motorcycles, and still running strong today.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the tougher sections on the track here for Moto 2, as all these rollers, the riders are going to be riding real high, but as that line starts to get beat up and it gets burnt out, you're going to have to find some new lines on the track.
So there's the bike of Darryn Durham, the 37, the mechanics going to work there. Give us the keys to the race and tell us what Darryn Durham needs to do here today at High Point.
Well, he led a majority of Moto 1, which was his first time up front. As always, got to get a good start, but the track is so wet and sloppy and so much mud, the whole shot's going to be key. 1110Mods built his engine. You know, they got that thing tuned to perfection and used the home track knowledge. I'm sure he's ridden here plenty of times at local races growing up as an amateur where he's had to ride in these conditions. Believe in himself, he can win a moto if he gets out front again.
So that's your Rocky Mountain ATV MC keys to the race. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates on the start with a progressive pre-race report.
Even though the number 25 of Ryan Sipes has been riding extremely well, he's yet to score a point so far this season. At the first race in Hangtown, he crashed Moto number 1, injured his wrist, and then last time we saw him was at Freestone when he pulled a muscle in his back. But just during Moto number 1, he cross-rutted with just a few laps to go while he was in second spot, and he ended up slamming his head pretty hard, gave himself a concussion. I caught up with him while he's walking out of the Asterix medical unit, and the docs advised him to sit out this moto and next weekend at Budds Creek as well. Championship's hopes are dwindling for Ryan Sipes.
Let's go racing here in Pennsylvania. And one of the Kawasaki's on the inside. I think that's going to be Tyla Rattray. And then his teammate Dean Wilson battling for it. And it's going to be Wilson on the 15, outbraking Rattray to grab the lead.
I'm not sure if he outbraked him, but he came in there so hot, Rattray clipped him, and Wilson kept the Kawasaki on the track and therefore took the lead.
So the two teammates battling it out, and you got to watch out for the 36 Cole Seeley right there on the outside on the Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda. He will split the monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki boys. Wait a minute, Blake Baggett, where'd he come from? He won the first moto today, and he's gotten around Rattray, and now also Seeley. He's up to second. So Blake Baggett, this is the best start of the year we've seen for him. Now we're looking for Wilson.
Looks like Nico Izzi, 42 there on the Honda with another good start. Grabbed the whole shot in Moto 1.
And you see the towels waving right now. The Kawasaki boys continue to have it going their way as it's Baggett, Seeley, Rattray, and Izzi. Dean Wilson leading them around. You see Wilson already getting a bit of a gap built up.
Looks like Malcolm Stewart just behind Izzi, and definitely one of the Geico riders.
And we're going to try to check in with the leader. Wilson was able to make a move and get around Rattray, and Baggett is in the lead. So we did not see Wilson. All right, we do have a replay of what happened to Dean Wilson. He led this thing for about 3 turns.
Oh, okay, so this is over that hip double. Wilson's still out front at this point. Oh, and then he catches a rut or something and goes down with the lead.
Bizarre
Watch
crash.
right here. Oh, his right hand came off the bars.
Oh.
Definitely an unexpected hit or something when he landed off of that double.
Yeah, normally one of the safer areas of the track. So just like that, Wilson goes from the lead to way back. He crashed in the first lap. That's bad news.
Yeah, in Moto 1, it looked like Wilson had the speed to win this thing, and his teammate here, Blake Baggett, just blazed through, took the moto on the podium. Wilson looked a little disappointed. Strong ride, second, but disappointed. He's going to be furious now if he gives up the lead, giving up the lead here on Moto 1. I mean,
lap 1.
On the flap 1, yeah.
Yeah, and he's going to be way, way back because the riders are obviously so close at the beginning of the race. You go down, you could find yourself going from first to last. Let's focus in on this battle for second, Cole Seeley and Tyla Rattray. And then right behind them, you have Izzi and Malcolm Stewart. And I don't know, you give Baggett the advantage like this off the start. He's been so strong coming through the pack late in the races. I can't imagine what he could do leading early. Oh, this track is so rutted, Jeff. These guys having a tough time getting through that corner.
Well, and at this point, they're trying to stay in the main groove. Now, we had a 450 moto just before this, after it had rained, and the 450s, the track was pretty wet and sloppy everywhere. Now there's a couple of lines that have grooved in on the track. Problem with that is that everybody's going to be forced to go to that one line until that line wears out. Whoa, Seeley airing out the double here.
And Rattray does not, but Rattray on the inside did not lose too much ground. feeling their way around. This track just changed so much from when they rode earlier today. It was all wet and muddy after rain in between the races. So totally different track than what we had before.
Looks like Izzi down at the top of the screen back there. Some yellow flags flying. There's Rattray.
So Rattray in third, trying to keep the heat on Seeley while Baggett gets away. And yes, we have lost Nico Izzi, who was fourth, from that group due to a crash.
That's going to allow Malcolm Stewart to slide up into the fourth position. Great run for Malcolm, who's just at the top of the screen here, just behind Rattray.
Yeah, and he's just getting started as a pro. Malcolm, this is only his third ever pro motocross race, so good for him. He's definitely getting stronger and more consistent week to week. But Blake Baggett leading them around early at High Point. Cole Seeley said he's sick and tired of these Kawasaki boys dominating. He wants to split them, and he's doing it right now.
If you ride a
Pro Motocross Championship is brought to you Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Just under an hour north of our track here in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, which is basically right on the Mason-Dixon line, straddling state border between Pennsylvania and West Virginia. And Blake Baggett, who is from all the way out in California, you expect, man, the muddy conditions might be tough on him. Not at all. Leading the way around here at Mount Morris.
I'm telling you, we spend a lot of time in SoCal there on our local tracks. It's pretty hard packed, dry slick. Then they bring the water truck by and soak it down.
Oh, okay.
So everybody thinks that we're out there in the desert. I'm telling you, young Blake Baggett has had a lot of practice on conditions like this.
Tyla Rattray has made the move around Cole Seeley to get back into second. Still a good run for Seeley, who won a couple of races in the Supercross Tour indoors earlier this year. Has been off to a so-so start, but not able to get on the podium yet in motocross. So right now he is there in third. That's a podium position. But he's got Malcolm Stewart, Justin Barcia behind him, and a long, long, long way to go.
And as the names scroll across the top of your screen there, our first moto leader for the majority of the race, Darryn Durham, is setting in 21st right now. So not quite the start that he needed.
No. Yeah, that was the star of the show in our first moto because he's a local guy, but it's so hard to back it up and put in two strong motos, especially when you're talking, Jeff, about young riders such as this, the 139 of Malcolm Stewart. That's his James Stewart's younger brother, first year as a professional, and basically then only his third pro motocross race. Doing a good job here in fourth, but Justin Barcia on the 17, the red Honda, putting some heat on from the number 5 spot. And Barcia won a moto here last year. Had a tough go of it in Moto 1 here earlier today. He has his teammate Eli Tomac right behind him in 6th, and that's kind of where Tomac has been all year, 4th, 5th, 6th. That's not where Tomac was expected to be. A lot of people thought he'd be winning motos right off the bat. Right now, he's just trying to duke it out with his teammate Barcia and the 139 of Stewart.
I tell you, just at the top of your screen there, which would be your right now, I'm really impressed with Alex Martin, 46. He's running in 7th place and hanging right here with some of the factory guys, basically.
Yeah, Alex Martin is the teammate of Darryn Durham. That's a local team. They don't have support from Factory Honda or anything like that. 1110Mods and Morgantown Power Sports helping out Alex Martin and Darryn Durham. Durham almost won the first race today, and Martin running inside the top 10 here in the second one. So that team's got to be happy. And let's talk about this. Barcia putting pressure on the 139 of Stewart. However, this is a different Malcolm Stewart, Jeff, than we saw at Hangtown when he led the first lap of the year, then dropped way back. Just logging solid laps here.
Yeah, he's putting in a strong ride here, and you see Barcia, he's from back east, so he's had plenty of practice and everything in his life riding in the mud here, but just not quite the starts that they need to be up front leading this moto and contend with the Pro Circuit guys.
All right, so that's 5th Barcia, and like we mentioned, behind him is his teammate Tomac. Let's see how long Stewart can hang with this pace. He went all out, spent all his energy early. Meanwhile, Barcia's had a rough go of it. He's making the pass, going to the inside. He's got Stewart. He's got 4th. Aaron, what are you hearing on the number 17 of Justin Barcia?
Well, guys, the whole team of the number 17 has been keeping it kind of quiet, but apparently Justin Barcia has been suffering from an ear infection for the past 2 weeks. He did start a cycle of antibiotics just 3 days ago, but he said he is feeling slightly fatigued. Something is definitely wearing him down. But on top of that, he decided that this moto, he is definitely going to be sporting a chest protector, because after that first moto, you should have seen his chest. He looked like he'd been pelted with pellets. He said the Bruce did something fierce out there today.
Wow, it's a lot of issues to deal with for Barcia.
Yeah, and as far as that roost, earlier today in the first moto, that roost was looser and, you know, I mean, it was like a shotgun blast. Now, here in the second moto, this mud is a lot wetter, so it kind of softens the blow a little bit, takes a little bit of the sting out of it, but you can see there's plenty of roost coming up off the back tires of these machines.
And we saw Tomac and Alex Martin, who we mentioned earlier, and then finally we're seeing the number 20 making a move right now, a mistake by Martin, and that will put Broc Tickle one position further up. Tickle is your West Region Supercross champ in this 250 class, but we haven't seen much of him up front outdoors. He has really struggled to get starts so far this year, Jeff.
Yeah, just has not been up front. He's had to ride from the back the whole time, and that's tough because this is such a talented group of young riders.
Now Tomac on the 19, the Honda going after Stewart to move one position further forward, and if you're Tomac, you want to hold off Tickle, because that was a bitter feud down to the end of that Supercross Championship, which Tickle eventually won, and Tomac ended up second. He doesn't want Tickle to pass him here, so he's now going after Stewart.
Now in this situation, you can see that there definitely is a dry racing line. There'll be a couple of lines right here where it kind of opens up, and Barcia was not able to make the pass. But what you have to focus on is applying the pressure to the rider in front of you, forcing him into a mistake, to force him out of the line or to do something wrong. Then you can take over the fast line.
Yeah, so that's Tomac there on the 19, keeping the heat on Stewart, Tickle behind them, and then in front of them was Justin Barcia, who made the move on Stewart. So Barcia's fourth, Cole Silly still third, Rattray second, Blake Baggett leading them around. Kind of waiting for Eli Tomac to get hot here. Started out the year so brilliantly a year ago by winning his first ever pro race at our season opener in Hangtown. We have not seen quite that same level of fire from Tomac since. He hasn't won a race since, and here he's making some moves, and he's going to get Stewart. So that'll put him into fifth, but we expected this guy to be winning races, not just going for top fives.
Yeah, so last lap around, Barcia goes around, or goes through the inside of Stewart there, and then this lap around, Stewart guards the inside, and Tomac goes around the outside.
So welcome to the pros, and you have relatively experienced guys. Tomac's on year 2 as a pro, and Stewart's just getting started. So great racing out here, as always, in the 250 class. Blake Baggett leading the way. What do you verge of the 24 hours of Le Mans continues right here on Speed. Winning this epic race takes more than skill. You must have strategy, endurance, and luck. Live coverage of the 24 Hours of Le Mans continues tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern on Speed, and continues straight through the checkered flag. Don't miss it. We almost missed this guy, Darryn Durham, who is in 15th right now, and that's a big difference from what he had in Moto 1. Let's review the Rocky Mountain keys to the race, Jeff, for Darryn.
Good start. No. Didn't quite get to start. He was well outside of the top 20 at one point, moved up to 14th now. I do believe that he's using some of the home track knowledge of watching some of his lines. He's not really staying in that main groove, and where the ruts are deep, he's kind of using some lines that other riders might not know about.
Now, earlier today in Moto 1, it was a whole lot better than 15th. This guy was leading it, and we'll show you with our Lucas Oil highlights of the first Moto. There's Durham all the way lined up on the inside, gets a pretty good start. Nico Izzi is going to lead them to the stripe. But then Durham on the 37, going to go around the outside, switch it up, get around Nico Izzi, get the lead, and then put the hammer down, Jeff.
And Durham took off. His lap times are fantastic, and midway through the race, it looked like he really had this thing handled.
Ryan Sipes will move past Izzi to get into second. Put a little pressure on Durham, but then a few laps in, Durham had his rhythm, started pulling away, then makes a big mistake, loses the ground that he had opened up, but Sipes in second crashes out. So that leaves Durham with a big lead again, but Blake Baggett down the stretch is putting in phenomenal lap times. He catches Durham, Durham makes a mistake, Baggett's going to steal the lead, and then another mistake from Durham, takes a bad line there, and that allows Dean Wilson to take over the number 2 spot. It was tough down the stretch for Durham.
But he stayed in it, but nobody could touch Blake Baggett in Moto number 1.
No, unbelievable. What Baggett has been able to do down the stretch in these races has been impressive, but he has had problems. Look at the helmet. That is not the way the visor is supposed to look on the helmet. Must have taken on a crash there. So Man, we thought that this guy was almost invincible if you could just give him a good start, but now you see he's behind Cole Seeley. So it has been all sorts of shaking up here in Pennsylvania.
That's crazy. You look at Blake Baggett's helmet visor, and it almost looks like that it was bolted on backwards.
Yeah, I don't know how you could crash and make the thing flip like that. I don't understand.
Unless both of the side bolts are off.
Well, he doesn't care, by the way. He's going after Seeley anyway, trying to make passes. I believe that would get him back up to second because Rattray was in front of Seeley.
So if both of the side bolts broke off,
okay,
and it spun around on the center bolt, that's how it would still be attached upside down.
But impressive that it actually rotated perfectly 180 degrees. It's backwards, but it's perfectly straight backwards. He didn't care. He's going to be taking a lot of risks because the visor can't catch it. So he just better start making passes, and he does. So now he doesn't have to worry about the dirt coming off the back wheel of Seeley. What a recovery.
Well, Rattray has just crossed the finish line, and so that's going to put him, well, Baggett's going to come by about 8.9 seconds behind the leader. Clearly in the first moto, Baggett had the speed to do whatever he wanted with the competitors and his teammates. So now with 12 minutes plus 2 laps left in this moto, we'll see if the 57 can get that drive back again, get focused, and go after the leader, his teammate Tyla Rattray.
Well, yeah, Jeff, this has been the portion of the race, the second half, where Baggett has really made his mark. But after a crash, is it really the same circumstances? Can he bounce back, or does it take you out of your rhythm?
It all depends. It can go either way. Right now, it looks like Baggett's, he's just fine outside of that visor being in the condition that it is. And, you know, the toughest thing may be, you know, maybe his friends kind of jabbing him about having his helmet or his visor sticking straight up when they watch the show.
And there it is. He is down. The damage already done to the visor. And then this is tough to wrestle the bike uphill like that.
Yeah, because it's muddy and it's wet, but notice he keeps the...
trying to figure out where he went. Now the goal is you have to get back on the track where you came off.
Well, he came down the hill.
Did he go that far
there.
off the track? Oh, okay. He went off the track to the right?
It's hard to say. That okay. It actually looked like it was just behind the start line area.
Man, so you have to re-enter the track as safe as you can. Sometimes it's hard to go backwards uphill. Either way, we know this. Tyla Rattray is leading the race. I don't know about the overall. We're confused enough as how it's going out here right now. So we'll just tell you this. Rattray leading Baggett and Seeley. Stay tuned. Moment in the 2011 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 12th, live from Phoenix at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 Pacific only on Fox. Dean Wilson has the red background to his number 15. Why? Because he is your series points leader. But it's going to be hard to hold that points lead by the end of the day. He crashed on the first lap of this race, and he has had to fight his way through traffic. He is currently in the number 9 position, and the man who is second in points, Tyla Rattray, is leading this race.
Wilson right here, top of your screen, 35 seconds behind your leader. The group's actually pretty tight, especially just in front of Wilson. Stewart's right there, Martin and Barcia and Tickle are right there within arm's reach. 9 minutes plus 2 laps to go. The pace that Wilson is riding at the moment, if he keeps on this pace and doesn't make any mistakes, he could catch those riders and possibly get inside the top 5.
Battle is on here. Eli Tomac and making tracks and going after Cole Seeley. So Justin Barcia, who was in 4th, he has had his problems. He's dropped to the back of this train. 36 is Seeley. 19 is Tomac. We're finally seeing Eli Tomac turning on the kind of speed that people expected to see from him in 2011. But Seeley's going to do his best to hold him back.
Couple of Honda riders going at it. Look at Tomac. He's got some alternate lines. He's moving around a bit, and he's going to have to do that if he makes his way past Cole Seeley, who's ridden a really steady race here. He hasn't made any big mistakes. Just riding a nice pace inside of the fast line.
All right, so Tomac has got plenty of time to make this happen. You see the countdown clock top of the screen, 8 minutes and 2 laps left in this one. But with all the rain and the mud we have here, Jeff, what happens? Do you have to stick to one line? Can you try different things on this track?
Well, Eli has made some passes, so he knows that he's got some spots like right here.
Wow, nicely done around the outside, leaping into 3rd. Aaron Bates, what are you hearing on the number 19 of Eli Tomac?
Guys, he had mentioned how frustrated he was after that first moto. He said he just wasted way too much time trying to get past anybody that was in front of him. He said by the time the front runners get out in front, it's just too far for him to catch up. So it's crucial for him to get a good start like he had said, but it wasn't the best of starts for Eli. I would imagine he's going to be the same frustration as he was during that first moto.
Yeah, Jason, and now, you know, Aaron's exactly right, but he's in a podium position for this moto, but the leaders are still about 20 seconds out. You know, so not getting that start, especially on a wet, sloppy track like this, really puts you at a disadvantage, but he's done a great job of clawing himself into the top 3.
Well, we saw the graphic. His last lap, he was actually a half of a second quicker than Rattray, but when you're 20 seconds behind him, you're not going to be able to catch the guy, only making up half a second. In other words, not getting the start made all the difference. He has the speed here down the stretch, but he's going to need those guys to make huge mistakes if he wants to make a bid for the win. Dropping into the valley here, and they're headed to what they call the hip jump, as you're kind of turning and jumping at the same time.
Ooh, a little short
Wow,
there.
yeah.
And that's your body, your wrist, ankles, knees, back takes such a beating when you come up short on a big double like that.
Okay, that's Tomac, Colorado kid, who's actually been riding and training in Texas quite a bit at Andrew Short's house. Short, one of the riders that races in our 450 class. Last year as a rookie, Tomac struggled in the hot and humid races. So they decided instead of training in the altitude of Colorado, we're going to train in the heat in Texas. And you got to figure maybe a little more measured approach to the championship this year, Jeff. They came out really strong early and then kind of spent all their energy too early in the series last year. So do you expect maybe a surge later in the year from Tomac this year?
Well, it's all about building that foundation and ramping it up. And okay, if you started the season at one point, how do we improve with each passing race to where that once we hit the halfway point, now we're ready to start winning some races? Because especially in this class, if you can get hot by Redbud and start winning races, you can close up that gap. Whatever points you lost the first half, you can make it up and more by the time you get to the finish.
Bro, you had mentioned about spending too much energy. Well, a guy that had told me that he's suffering from arm pump during Moto 1 was Dean Wilson. He said he exerted a ton of energy trying to make a pass on his teammate, Tyla Rattray. But he said one of these things during this crash, during this moto, it's going to be a tough deal for him to catch up. He needs to stay calm and breathe in order to finish off this moto.
Yeah, Aaron, great report there. And because think about it, if Dean Wilson did that in the first moto, now he starts outside of the top 10, is moved up to 8th now. How's he going to be feeling after this one?
Well, good news, Dean. We don't have 3 races. You're going to have 6 days to recover before the next round. There's Eli Tomac. He is all alone in 3rd. Cole Seeley behind him. Blake Baggett in front of him, and Tyla Rattray leading them around at High Point. Fans here have been treated to some great racing, unpredictable racing, most importantly, today. Soil AMA Pro Motocross Champion. Looking at the 28 of Tyla Rattray in a 250 class that is generally ruled by young kids fresh out of the amateur ranks, a lot of them not even in their 20s yet. You got this guy, a veteran from South Africa, leading them.
But we do have a second-year rider.
Oh, no, not again.
Is he doing it again? He's back. Look at the top of your screen. There's the 57, Blake Baggett, who seemingly at will can turn faster lap times than anyone on the track by like 3 or 4 seconds.
You're not supposed to be able to do that. It's supposed to be tenths of a second here and there. He makes up multiple seconds per lap, and here he comes again.
He's going for the W. He already has one in Moto 1 today. He was your winner, so he's got 2 minutes, 40 seconds, plus 2 laps, possibly. So roughly about 6 minutes of racing here.
And he's doing it against Rattray, who is known as maybe the strongest, fittest, steadiest rider in this 250 class, and Baggett doesn't care. Second half of these races, even after a crash this time, he finds his rhythm, he finds his flow, and he has gone from what? About 10 seconds back to 2.5 seconds back.
He has just completely been on fire here today. Shown speed that other riders just don't. Oh, look at the lap rider. I thought he was going to come on in front of him, but see right here, he nails the hip double, and look how much time he picks up on his teammate.
This is crazy.
2 minutes to go.
What kind of confidence does it give you when you could not see the leader, and then all of a sudden he's on the horizon and you can read the jersey?
Yeah, he's just in the zone right now. That's just, I mean, you're in that position and you just can seem to ride at this pace with this intensity that, and nobody else can match you. And that's really what it comes down to. He's driven, he's got a high intensity, and he is charging all the way.
Maybe he's got an aerodynamic advantage. He's got good downforce with the way that flies over. I don't understand how you thought maybe the crash would be the one thing that could take him out of his rhythm. Nope, it's the classic Blake Baggett story. Ladder laps, no one can match this kid's lap times, and now he's just trying to find a line to make a pass on Rattray. He's done the damage, he's caught it.
Well, and that's, Baggett can do this because of fitness, and because he trains with intensity, he practices with intensity, he becomes accustomed to having his heart rate and his breathing patterns in this situation, which are bound to be maxed out at this point, but just drawing some great lines around the track. Just
here it comes. Big valley, they're gonna jump back out and head toward the finish line stretch. Baggett on the outside. Can he pass him here? Rattray's gonna take the line away. And Rattray, boy, he is being stubborn with his teammate. Just held him pinned all the way up around the outside. Another left-hand turn coming up.
Unbelievable that Baggett stayed in it on the outside. There he goes.
And he still makes the pass. So Blake Baggett takes the lead from Tyla Rattray, and Rattray did everything he could to prevent that from happening.
He pushed Baggett all the way to the yellow markers. There was no more room left. Baggett never backed off the throttle. I mean, just fearless riding out of the 57 Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider, Blake Baggett. I'm speechless.
You mentioned the fitness. You don't get much stronger than Tyla Rattray. I mean, that guy is as fit and as strong as it comes, and even he has no answer for Baggett late in these races.
Speed and intensity. Right now, Baggett is just riding at a different level than anyone else on the track.
Unbelievable. Well, one thing that hasn't changed is Kawasaki up front. That team has been there all year long. It's just a different rider on the bike leading it right now. Mitch Payton, Greg King, they're happy with what their team's doing right now. California leading round 3 at the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship from High Point Raceway. It's the Rockstar Energy Drink National. That's not the way a motocross helmet is supposed to look. This kid was leading the race, crashed, obviously head first, damaged the helmet, got back up, made up the ground, passed Tyla Rattray, and is now back to the #1 spot, Jeff Emmett.
Yeah, this has been just such an impressive ride. As he comes by these rollers, watch it, just comes by yet another lap drive. That looks like Nico Izzi that he's by. But Baggett has just flowed around this track as the track went away and it got more rutted and more difficult. He just never backed off the intensity. He's been so confident on the bike. He just does whatever he wants with the machine.
Now I'm going to throw this one at you. The other riders on the Pro Circuit team all weigh about the same. They're 160-some pounds. You got Tickle and Rattray, who are really stout-built guys. You got the long, lanky Dean Wilson. And then you got this kid who is short and skinny. He's lightweight. And there have been some rumblings that he has an advantage because they're all on identical equipment otherwise. What do you think about that, Jeff?
Well, they say great things come in small packages. I don't know. Hey, it is what it is. You know, we're all built differently, and you use whatever you have. I mean, you know, he could use excuse, hey, well, I'm just not as big and strong as you guys. Okay, so, but physical fitness, he is obviously doing the work with his trainer, Eldon Baker, and just really showing determination. And, you know, you can't ride a motorcycle like this without putting in the hard work, training, building your strength, doing your motos, and preparing yourself mentally for you know, these type of races.
And you might think with a kid that has this kind of speed and talent, that this was predestined and he was going to dominate races like this, but it wasn't quite so easy. He was good as an amateur, won some races, but didn't exactly dominate. And then when he graduated, Kawasaki only had room for one rider on this team. They picked Wilson. So Baggett rode for Suzuki last year, got a podium at this race at High Point, and that really sealed the deal as we get to our last lap here. Then people knew, okay, as a pro, he's got something special. Then they had an opening in the team when some other riders graduated up to the 450 ranks this year. Baggett's on the squad. He's repaying them with victories. So Mitch Payton, man, unbelievable what this team has done this year. This might be their best year yet, and they've won so many darn races. Check it out. Mitch had to watch this. Two teammates almost taking each other down, Jeff.
Yeah, and Baggett was almost off the track, and just the next turn, he just stays right in it, just confident. I mean, that's the type of riding and the type of confidence around other riders that you usually see from riders that have 20 wins under their belt, or they've dominated the complete series for a year or two, and they just feel like they belong in front, and hey, you guys are in the way. This is the first time here in the last month we've seen Baggett at the opening round ride like this. Had a couple of problems here and there in the next couple races, but just dominating once again. He has a feeling of belonging that, hey, this is my series. I'm going to take control of this thing.
Wow. Yeah, he has a 7.3-second lead now over Rattray. Tomac third, Sealy and Tickle rounding out the top 5. Wilson has climbed his way up to 8th. Now, the problem for Baggett is the points. Terrible weekend last time we raced, which was at Freestone in Texas. He was leading the first moto, crashed, so he didn't knock himself out completely, didn't have a concussion, but he was a little bit wobbly in the second moto, so he tried to survive and just score some points. So he won the first round. It appears he's going to win the third one, but that tough day at round 2 means that Rattray and Wilson will still be ahead of him in the series standings, but you just keep riding like this, and you'll erase that points deficit quick.
Yeah, that's the best way. Just go win the motos. Each moto to win pays 25 points. Baggett on the day today is going to get maximum amount of points, and there's still going to be 9 races, 18 more motos in this championship before we figure out who the 2011 250 champion will be.
Yeah, and it's so hard to predict. You know, last year at this time, Trey Kennard was struggling, had a bunch of crashes this race in the rain, and was really having a tough time. And then halfway through the year, he caught fire and came from way back in points to take the championship. So hard to predict what's going to happen over the long haul, but we can predict this. He's going to win this race. Blake Baggett wins at High Point, and he wins both motos, so that makes the math easy on us. And I think Mitch is even surprised at what this kid's doing in the second half of these races. Can't take the goggles off because of the visor being pointed the wrong direction, but he's pointed the right direction to get to the podium. We'll talk to him when we return.
For 125 years, Sunoco's been propelling people.
They become available, sent right to your phone. Text MOTO to Speed 3 for the alerts now. Give you the recap here of our 250 class racing, the Lucas Oil race recap of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Here's how this one went down. Critical to get a start on a muddy race day like this. Kawasaki's battling up front. Tyla Rattray had the lead. Dean Wilson steals it, and then it gets all crazy here, Jeff. Yeah,
Dean Wilson comes by, his teammate clips him. That sets him back, but Wilson, 15, keeps the lead. But watch at the left of your screen, Wilson lands with the lead, puts the Kawasaki in the mud.
So he was way back. Blake Baggett inherits the lead, then he has problems. He crashes. That's going to leave Tyla Rattray in the #1 spot. We thought Baggett was out of this one. But late in the race, unbelievable speed, and he takes the lead for the second time.
Baggett's intensity could not be matched by anyone. 1-1 on the day for Blake Baggett.
And a dominant 1-1. Give you the results here from Moto 2. Baggett takes the win. Another solid day points-wise for Tyla Rattray with that consistent second-place finish. And Eli Tomac finally showing some of the speed we expected to see from him this year. Second half of that moto takes a solid third. There's your top 10. Well done by Malcolm Stewart. Get that top 10. And let's go down to Aaron with our winner.
I think you guys said it best. Nobody was going to be able to match Blake Baggett's intensity. But Blake, we saw the aftermath with your visor after the crash, but take us through what happened.
You know, the track's so slippery that just got away from me. I seen I had 10 seconds, and I was just like, all right, be smooth, be smart. Got on the gas a little hard, it broke loose. High-sided big over here, and the banners got my face, my shoulder, and you know, just got up and fought it back. But I got to give it up to my team, Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Parts Unlimited, Thor, Alpine Star, Traxxas, Volcom, Vans, my mom, my dad, my trainer, Alan Baker, and my girlfriend.
Congratulations on your hard charge today.
Blake Baggett's got the win. We'll show you some of the other races where he's going to try to win races. We will be in Budds Creek in Mechanicsville, Maryland next weekend, not too far from here in Pennsylvania. Then we go mile high up at Lakewood, Colorado, just outside of Denver. Then it's Red Bud in Buchanan, Michigan on July 4th weekend, followed by the infamous Sand Track in Millville, Minnesota. All the 250 class coverage, of course, right here on Speed. That's our Toyota moving forward schedule. Fans are gathering down by the podium to congratulate our top riders today, and we will talk to more of them when we return. Tyla Rattray didn't get the win today, but he's got to feel good about his position in points, that's for sure. We'll be right back.
24 hours of Le Mans.
It's coverage of the Lucas Oil AMA. Welcome back to Southwestern Pennsylvania, round 3, the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship in the 250 class. Here are your overall results for the day. Easy math, Blake Baggett wins race 1 and race 2, so that gives him the overall weekend victory. Rattray and Tomac up on the podium, and the big difference, Rattray makes up 7 points, as you can see on Dean Wilson, giving him the points lead. Let's send it down to Aaron with Tyla Rattray.
Tyla Rattray may have not left here with the victory, but you're leaving here with the points lead plate. Tyla, what does this moment mean to you at this point with three rounds under the book?
Oh man, it's still early, you know. When I won my World Championship in Europe, we changed the plate, I think, maybe 4 or 5 times. So it's still early on in the championship, and I'm not really worried about the red plate. Just trying to get up here every weekend, you know. Blake rode an awesome second moto in there, and I struggled a bit, you know. I think I struggled the whole day on this track. Last year was obviously a lot better for me, but no complaints. I still came away with a second, which I'm happy with, and I just want to thank everyone from the guys from Monster Energy, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Parts Unlimited, Thor, my stepdad, my mom, my wife, and my baby. Thank you.
Show you the series standings. It is still very close. You see Wilson only 2 back. Baggett, after even the bad race at round 2 of Freestone, he's in the hunt. Tomac, Cunningham, top 5. Let's send it back down in the box with Aaron.
Eli Tomac said he was extremely frustrated that he had wasted just too much time, Eli, making that pass. How did you feel about your second moto?
It definitely went better. Once again, I had to work my way up from like a top 10 start. And yeah, I mean, 3rd place is pretty good. I'm excited to get on the box, but I definitely can get better.
Download the free Speed app for your phone. Keep speed at your fingertips and fuel your passion for racing between events with Speed on your phone. Get the latest stats, results, and news as soon as they become available. Download the app from iTunes or the Android market now. Well, we're not taking a break in this tour for a while now. We're going to go 4 straight weekends at races, so it's a grind. We'll be at Budds Creek in Mechanicsville, Maryland next week. Saturday night, we'll have your 250 class coverage, of course, on Speed. And we'll just keep on going. We'll be in Colorado, we'll be in Michigan, and then we'll be in Minnesota. And the first motos, of course, are live on Fuel and on allysports.com every week. So not too hard to find the coverage of the toughest motocross racing series in the world. All right, so there it is. Blake Baggett has won both motos, a dominant performance today, and he is starting to inch closer to this series points lead. Great racing from the hills of High Point. We'll be racing in the hills of Budds Creek next time, so don't miss that. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emig, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for joining us for the Rockstar Energy Drink High Point National. Congratulations to our dominant winner today, Blake Baggett.